Hey there, my Belle Collective fans. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are talking about season 2, episode 3, Love, Marriage, and No Baby Carriage, as well as episode 4, Hair Wars. Hair Wars spelled Heir. And you know how that goes. Anyway, I hope everybody's out there doing well. Y'all know I'm behind and playing catch up because you know why, because I had the health issues. But let's get started on this review real quick. Okay, so episode 3 starts off with Marie in the bathroom at the brunch. You know, she upset about seeing Latrice walk in, and Letitia went in there to talk to her, and they got into a verbal argument. Then Letitia asks Latrice to come into the bathroom to speak with Marie, you know, trying to be the peacemaker and get them to squash stuff. But that wasn't really going to work. So they were trying to squash these things, but because Latrice refused to own the part that she played in trying to ruin Marie and Essie's business with the lies she helped to put out there on the social media about her, it didn't end well at all. Marie settled down later and she just bounced, you know, and Akeisha with her little shady self, you know, left saying she'll never attend one of Letitia's brunches again, and somehow making it seem like as though it was all about her. She can't have her name mixed up in this mess because she knows the owner of that venue. And in the meantime, Letitia's in the bathroom. She's crying in the producer's arms about everything that went down. And she finally pulled herself together and went back out there to the ladies. And they end up saying, you know, one of her favorite affirmations before, you know, ending everything. But Akeisha is a mess. She was on the phone with Mel. I don't know if Mel called her or she called Mel, but she's doing all this shady talking and all this stuff. And I was like, girl, bye. Bye, Akeisha. Because she did come in there with bad negative energy, whether she wants to admit it or not. Then we have Tamara Cherie. She meets with Akeisha because that's supposed to be her girl. And they discuss the brunch, you know, and Akeisha has nothing positive to say about it. And Tamara just wants to confirm that, you know, Akeisha still, you know, support Letitia on the Ferris Street project. And Akeisha states that she isn't that petty. Excuse me, I'm not that petty, which means she can be petty, or she, even though, or she is a petty person, but she ain't that petty. I mean, I just laughed about that one. I'm like, I feel that Akeisha is probably very petty. We have Marie. She's having a severe lupus flare-up after attending, you know, Raven's funeral was that day. And she says she has to take like over 12 pills a day just to function and has to use a walker on those bad days. So Essie stops by to check on her and the family, and they discuss her personal life and losing Cedric, you know, her cheating ex-husband. She's saying all the stuff that she went through and the stress and trying to take care of everybody on her own, and usually having him sometimes to help out, but he wasn't always there. Y'all remember season 1. He was out there cheating and philandering and everything else. Anyway, then we got Latrice. She's under pressure from Cliff to have his baby. She's terrified her relationship won't survive if she says no. So she goes to see her mother, you know, to talk and get some motherly advice. And her mother tells her that Cliff reminds her of Latrice's daddy. Basically, she married her dad, you know. And that Cliff wants to give her a child so that whenever Latrice wants to, you know, go out, he'll say something like her father used to say, a mother's place is at home with her baby. And that seems like Cliff, her mother also said it seems like Cliff is trying to hold her back. And Latrice is feeling that same way. But Latrice also is feeling a little traumatized about males staying in her life since her father wasn't really there for her due to the demons he was fighting, because I think he left when she was 3 or something, and then from losing 2 of her brothers to the streets. And she felt that if her father was there, they might not have gone to the streets and been in the streets, you know. Anyway, then we got Akeisha. She meets with Letitia to discuss their differences, and Letitia lets her know about the negative energy she brought. But of course, Akeisha felt she was the most professional person there, that she wasn't bringing no negative energy. However, she did apologize and said if Letitia thought she was bringing bad energy, that wasn't her intention, you know. So this meeting was basically to squash things and get them back on track and focus on their common interest, which was Ferris Street Project. And I did like what Letitia said about Akeisha in her confessional. She said, I don't know if Akeisha is a woman of empowerment or a woman who needs to be in power. I said, oh, no, she didn't. She was right about that. And she also mentioned that she's already trying to steal her idea. And as we go forward in the next episodes, I see that. I see that as well. And let's not forget, y'all, they are trying to revitalize a struggling mid-20th century historic district that was once known as the hub for Black-owned businesses out there in Jackson, Mississippi. So that's basically how it ended. That was episode 3. So now episode 4 of season 2 is Heir Wars. And we have Lakeisha, now I'm saying it wrong because I got Akeisha name in my brow. Letitia goes to meet with Akeisha on Ferris Street, and Akeisha is telling her all about its history, mainly about her family's part of it, you know what I mean. But Letitia is already familiar with the majority of it, but she goes along with the tour anyways, saying that she bored, but she keeps smiling. So Akeisha states in her confessional that it's okay to have a passion about this Ferris Street thing, but Letitia is going to have something in the pockets. Basically, y'all know what that means. She need to have some money. I'm like, So you go flaunt your football NFL money? Is that what you doing? Because that's your husband's money. What does she do? What does Akeisha? I don't know really what Akeisha does. I can't remember. Anyway, moving on because it's not important to me right now. We have Marie. She stops by Letitia's office and lets her know how much she inspires her and encourages her, but that she has decided to no longer attend any of Letitia's brunches in the near future to avoid such arguments and stuff. However, Letitia is not happy about it and thinks it's petty, but to me, she have no choice other than to accept it because Marie does not want to be blamed for ruining another one of her brunches. And I think Marie is making the best decision, and I'm behind her with that one because they're going to keep putting stuff on her, and she doesn't want to be around Latrice. Don't let her be around her, Anyway, then we got Glenn. He goes to see Mama Faye, Letitia's mom, for advice. And, he said he's known her since he was a teenager, so she basically helped raise him as well. So she gives her fair and honest and non-judgmental opinion. She told him that the affair was a misdemeanor that he did, and the baby is a felony. That there's supposed to be a baby, which I don't understand why Glenn hasn't gotten a DNA test. You know why he didn't? Because he's still claiming he never had sex with her. He never had relations with her, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so she basically is calling, Glenn a repeat offender, and he's laughing. And she told him that, he gave Letitia all the material she needed to build that brick wall up between them. So he's getting upset, but, he's the one who made it happen. Anyway, moving on, we got Akeisha. She trying to get Willie to move to Jackson, Mississippi. And he feels it's too slow for him there, He's from New York, New Jersey. Hey, holla. And she lets him know that, so Gucci is going to show them a house to buy. And she doesn't like renting someone else's house. You know how I feel about that, honey, she was saying. So they go to see the house, and Willie feels that it's a lot of house for just a temporary 2-year stay. It seems more like a permanent move. And, they have this big discussion about it, and he's not for it. So they agree to keep looking. And just to let you know, he does understand how important the Ferris Street Project is to his wife. So he's being supportive until it's done. He is. Then we have Essie. She goes to speak with Latrice at her store over the beef surrounding Marie's business. And, she's her business partner. So it's around her as well. So Latrice is being very shady towards her in the confessional and in person, But Essie ain't even trying to hear it. She ain't having it at all. Latrice mentions she's glad that she could be an inspiration to both Marie and Essie since they're dabbling in the hair business. And Essie lets her know that they both are licensed cosmetologists and that they have a background in hair and stuff. So now, anyway, she shut that down and a couple of other things. So now Essie switches anyway to the reason for her visit and lets Latrice know that she may not have to, she may not have done the stabbing, but her hand was on the knife. I said, oh, no, she didn't. Whoa, that was a nice way of putting it, that you may not be the one who actually put all that out in the social media, but you started it. You called that person and had that person do it for you and told them not to attack Letitia, but to get Marie, So that's what basically what Essie was saying. And Essie also adds that, these rumors did hurt them personally and professionally because, Latrice is acting like it's not a big deal. It's just a rumor. But they lost. They lost clients. They lost employees. They lost a lot behind that mess. She was like, how do you think it made us feel? Or something like that. But, Latrice didn't really care too much. So they go back and forth a little bit, and it ends with Latrice stating her prayers, go out to Marie and all she's going through. And, and we see they both are ready to put all of this behind them. Because Essie had to let her know that lupus is no joke. They both have it, and all of this stuff is diminishing her health and is stressing her out. So, they kind of squashed that. Then we have Letitia. She meets with Glenn in a restaurant, looking absolutely fabulous, or as Glenn stated, looking aesthetically pleasing. And she called it make him remember, So they do some small talk and then they get into a disagreement, whereas Letitia gets loud and publicly confronts him about his cheating. And she admits that she misses him, but she doesn't trust him. He's only thinking about himself and wants her to come back home. And he thinks just saying that he's sorry makes it all good. And I'm here to tell you, Glenn, that don't make it all good. Because sorry is weak when you keep going back and doing this or talking to other women. And she put it, he too friendly. So she told him that he's too friendly. Like I said, with other women. And if the attention she is giving him is not enough, then maybe this ain't for him. I said, ooh. Maybe that was her. Wasn't that her way of saying, telling him he could bounce? He need to walk or whatever. And she let him know. And she told him to understand one thing, that it is a privilege. She said, a privilege to be with her. And he just basically wants her to bury, what he did in the past and move forward. And that's hard for us women to do. It's hard for us to do. You got to be kidding. These men do that stuff. But if we did it, if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't want to hear it. And so he's begging her to come back home because he needs his family and he loves her and Josh. And she told him she's afraid to love him again. And it basically ended with them agreeing to go on a date without, another date without discussing his indiscretions. And she said, okay. And then he tried to get her to come home with him that night. And she said, absolutely not. We're taking baby steps, honey. And that's how it ended, y'all. So those are the 2 quick episodes that I'm giving you. I'm going to give you 2 more in about 2 days. And then we should be all caught up. If I missed anything, y'all let me know down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.